we're starting to learn a little bit more. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episodes 15 and 16 of To Be Hero X. 2 episodes. Because I have found out that this is the next arc. These next 2 episodes are the next arc. And I have decided, kind of at the spur of the moment, kind of like right before recording this, that we are going to do these 2 episodes, finish this arc, and then take one more break from To Be Hero X. Coming back to it sometime in the future. We're not dropping it. We're just going to take a break from it. And then we'll do the last set of episodes sometime in the future. Hopefully not within too long. But there's a couple reasons for this. And the main one is there is a show, and I'll talk about that in the afterthoughts, that I want to start right away in the new year. Because otherwise I would have to wait for it, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait any longer than I'm going to already have to. So, yeah. I'll talk more about that in the afterthoughts, though. Let's talk about this. So, last episode we finished the Lolly arc, where the character of Luoli created her alter ego of Lolly, and in the last episode had to face off against that disco bitch. The fear ended up getting out of the containment, infecting him, but it didn't affect Lolly at all due to her suit. Apparently, because the suit was made of material from the UFO crash or whatever, we we don't have to worry about it affecting her. It's like it's immune to fear somehow. We don't know all the details, but we're starting to get a lot more information more regularly. Different levels of information and kind of like stuff we still have to piece together, but yeah. It's turning out very, very good. And once everything really starts to connect, I think it's going to be even better. So I'm very curious to learn more. I don't know who this next arc is about, but I assume it's the guy we saw last time, the guy from the other agency who came in to try and help. Because that's how this series has been working. Um, every arc, there's another hero who's just kind of randomly shown, like in the background or like in this little side moment. And then they end up being the focus of the next arc. Um, and so I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do here. I don't remember the hero's name though, so I guess we're just gonna have to tune in to find out. But yeah, this is the final reaction for To Be Hero X for 2025. And like I said, after this, we will be taking a break and going on to something else, which I'll talk about in the afterthoughts. But just wanted to point this out as a reminder for everyone. Yeah, no reactions next week and all, or the week after, due to the holidays. Reactions will be coming back on starting January 5th, Monday, January 5th, and we'll go from there. Everything should be back to normal at that point. There will be obviously update videos and stuff coming periodically, so all of that will be good. And there will be a lot more talked about as well in the Princess Gay Awards, because I do give some updates and announcements during that. So stay tuned for that as well. I might make a video if like there's any announcements that are like going to be really big that I want to make sure people hear about outside of the Princess of Gay Awards, because not everybody might watch that. So, just to be very clear. But That all being said, I think we should get into this episode, see what hero we're dealing with, and what happens next. Well, these episodes, I should say. Let's get into them. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this was a fascinating, interesting, story, arc. Because I actually kind of, switched my opinion on Ghostblade, I think a couple of times. Because it's at first, there was a part of me that felt a little sorry for him. I can understand feeling overwhelmed by things. Noises, sounds usually don't get me. I'm autistic, but I don't tend to have too much in the way of auditory issues. There's a lot of autistic people who do, not everyone does. It's a spectrum of what affects people. There are certain noises that just bother me, but they're usually noises that bother most people, like nails on a chalkboard kind of thing. So it's yeah, I don't have too many auditory issues. I have more textural issues, honestly. But point is, I did feel kind of bad for him, and I'm kind of wondering. I'm kind of wondering if he's autistic, and I mean that seriously. He was nonverbal as a child to the point where when he eventually became a hero, that became part of his identity. And not just as a child, but through his life until it literally became part of his trust value issue. He was nonverbal. He couldn't stand not just noise, but crowds and people, to the point where he preferred to be alone and solitary. He preferred to be quiet, and he preferred his surroundings to be quiet. And he kind of hyper fixated on the entire assassination bit because it would allow him to take out people he saw as bad in order to create, I guess, more quiet in the world. It's he kind of reads as autistic to me. His wife even left him because he couldn't change. He was not finding the ability to change. She left and took their daughter because he was so stuck in his ways, you could say. And that's unfortunately very autistic. A lot of us who have autism oftentimes find it hard to change, find it hard to grow as people, because we find comfort in sticking with things that we know. And so it's changing ourselves is a difficult thing to do because we basically thrust ourselves into the unknown. We lose that sense of comfort. And so that's kind of another thought process to the idea of autism here. Now, I'm not saying he does have autism, but honestly, considering the creator of this and considering the stuff that this show and Link Click both focus on, I wouldn't be entirely surprised. But either way, after losing his wife and daughter, he ends up finding that he's kind of hyper focusing on that, and he starts stalking his daughter. And he thinks he's just, keeping track of her and watching her to keep her safe and all. But he doesn't realize how this is coming across to her. And he doesn't even realize that until current day when it's said that he's been stalking her, and he's surprised by that. He's surprised that that's how that's coming across, because that was never his intention. Him being called a creep, kind of shocks him. And he sees Lua Lee as a bad influence because she's changing his daughter. No is changing because of that, but that doesn't necessarily mean bad influence. Change, someone changing a person can be negative, but it can also be very positive. And sometimes it's just not really that big of a deal either way. Sometimes it's just oh, they're just changing the kind of things they like, the kind of things they do. That's not that that's very neutral, you know? That's not really good or bad. It's just something that people do as they grow and as they meet other people. That's not a bad influence. But he's become overprotective of his daughter because he can't be around her. And so he has to do basically whatever he can in order to protect her from the shadows, in a way. And so he's become overprotective of her, and she's the one person in this world that he wants to be around, that he wants to talk to, that he loves unconditionally. And Lily's father mistaking it for a romantic thing is just fucking weird, and was so uncomfortable. It's and I'm not blaming him, or I'm not even blaming the writing, because this trope has been used in a lot of things, and it's happened in real life. It's just so fucking awkward. It's so cringe. My God, that was difficult to watch and listen to. Especially because he tried to wingman him, and it's oh my God, no, please don't do that. I mean, she did find out in the end. She saw his journal and everything, so she found out. Though we never got to see if they come together, if anything actually comes from that. Because at the end it just suddenly switched focus to the fact that, oh, little Johnny and big Johnny are just suddenly kind of missing after this entire thing. Um so yeah, it's that's, I guess, maybe leading into the next arc. Maybe that's going to focus on the Johnnies. That's the only thing I could think of. Because we didn't really have another hero show up in this one, right? Outside of Johnny and Loli, and I guess you count DJ Shindig, though he was a villain in this because he was corrupted by the fear. So yeah, it's got to be the Johnnies then. I'm very curious about that. Um, I guess we'll just have to see. This is definitely starting to connect a lot more than it did in the early arcs. And I don't know what that's going to end up meaning. I don't know how I don't know how the early arcs will end up connecting to the rest of this still. With Esol and Nice. I'm very specifically wanting to see that connection continue. Cuz I want to know more about why everything happened with what happened there. Especially with Esol apparently killing Nice's girlfriend. I can't think of her name right now. And I keep calling him Nice, but technically he wasn't Nice at the end. He gave that up. He chose to go by a different name, the Commoner, I think it was. So yeah. Um I'm just that's still probably the one that I'm the most interested in finding out more about. But yeah, this is definitely leaving us off on fascinating notes. Um I will say, like, going with what I was talking about before, though, with the flip flopping on Ghostblade and all, because I've only really talked about my thoughts on him possibly being autistic and him, like, following his daughter around. But it's like the part where I started to like dislike him quite a bit is like where he like was he did refuse to change. He was like the way he was excusing his assassinations and everything as like, oh, I know they're evil, so this is okay. I don't feel anything for it. It's like that's I don't like that. Because that very much implies to me that he doesn't know that they're evil and that he is absolutely killing some innocent people. Maybe not all of them. In fact, more than likely, not all of them. But some of them absolutely didn't deserve to die. That guy at the beginning might have been one of them. But yeah, that implication is strong there. And then the fact that he refused to change for his wife and daughter and only ended up changing like after it was kind of already too late. Like it said she's 18 currently, or was 18 like a year or two ago or something like that. Um, she's at least 18 now. He hasn't been in her life and he's been stalking her for almost 2 decades. Like that's kind of fucked. Again, I understand he wants to see her, but it's like that's not okay. And the way he's like just been going about things, it's like I understand what he's like going through and the entire thing that he can't talk now and stuff like that, but it's like there's other ways to communicate. The fact that you were trying to communicate with your daughter through your wife was probably not the smartest idea. She left you for a reason. Like you probably should have tried to communicate directly with Now Now. That would have probably been much better. But instead you just didn't. You chose to stalk her and be a creep and a weirdo. And again, it kind of turned me back around on him. It's like I saw a lot of like the autism possibility, and I saw him as being more sad than anything. Like I'm still not like fully 100% on his side because he's still like not the best here. He's still done some crazy shit, but at the same time, it's like you feel a little sorry for him because he is actually trying to change now as much as he can, like with the music and the flower and stuff like that, just various things. And he's not doing it right, but at least he's trying. So it's like I'm kind of like just going back and forth in regards to what I think about him. And I will say I don't like really, really feel bad for him to the point where it's like I wouldn't like cry over him or like get like super attached. He's probably my least favorite of the heroes we've focused on for these arcs, if I'm being completely honest. Um, and not just because of the entire silent type of hero and everything, the silent assassin type hero. It's like it's not just that. It's also the idea of, just him. Wait a minute. I just thought of something, and this is going to sound like a crackpot theory. He works for the same guy that Esol works for, right? That the guy who was grooming Esol, basically. I don't remember his real name. The second Esol, of course. I don't remember his real name at the moment, but this is the guy who was grooming him and everything, and ended up being basically the main villain of that arc. The secret bad guy. Esol, the new Esol specifically, was the one who we saw kill Lee. I think it was Li Ling or Ling Li. We saw Isol kill the girl. Again, I can't remember her name right now. And what if it wasn't? What if it was Ghostblade? Because think about it, like Isol, what like he was definitely going down a darker path. Again, he was being led and groomed to go down that path, but still. But I don't think he would be a killer. And that kill was like super quick and sudden. I mean, it wasn't with a knife, it wasn't with a blade, it was like with some kind of gun thing, but still. But like, or no, I wasn't. It might have been with Isol's power, but I don't know. Because Ghostblade would do this. Ghostblade will kill without hesitation, even now as a hero. So that's more in line with Ghostblade, but again, the powers or whatnot, like that was still Isol, maybe? I don't know. Like I said, it sounds like a crackpot theory, but it's like it just that feels more in line with Ghostblade than Isol, and it's like I just don't know how we'd get around the power thing unless it was a fake suit and the suit had the technology to like fake Isol's power. But why would Ghostblade kill him unless he was hired to? Lots of questions that I just do not have the answer to. Um, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. That's what it comes down to. But that was honestly probably my least favorite arc as well, not just my least favorite hero. Um, I I I think my favorite arc might still be Lucky Cyan, because that arc really got to me. That was a good emotional, like really investing arc. Of course, I do still like the nice arc at the beginning, or the commoner. That arc was really good too. But yeah, this one just again, I'm not the biggest fan of Ghost Blade as a character. Like I was very flip floppy with like just how this was presented, which is probably intentional, but still, it's like this is probably to show that not all heroes are fully, like noble and good. Like for every queen you'll have someone like Ghostblade, who's a lot more complicated. We'll say he's not fully good, but he's not fully bad either. He does some bad things. He's very like dark in terms of his attitude and personality towards life. But he has, I guess, mostly good intent. He is trying to stop evil people, even if he has like a very black and white view of evil. And he's trying to connect with his daughter, even though he's doing it in the creepiest way. It's complicated, and there's definitely like good aspects to a character in a story being complicated, but it's just I just didn't connect with him. I didn't enjoy this as much. It might be my least favorite arc. But all of that being said, tell me what you thought, and just thank you as always so much for tuning in. So let's talk about what is going to be replacing this starting in 2026. So, like I said, we finished off this arc today. It was a spur of the moment decision, and when we come back from our winter break in 2026, which if we're starting Monday the 5th, this will be on Wednesday the 7th that we're coming back for this slot. Um, there's a show that's just starting up that I want to make sure I get to as quick as possible. and we did the first season. So it's definitely something I want to continue reacting to because I really enjoyed it. And I just feel like this is the best way to handle this. Because otherwise, I probably would have, like, either taken a break after episode 16 in at the beginning of the new year, or I might have just gone all the way through. I don't know, but we'll do the remainder of the series in the near future. I don't want it to be super long before we get back to this, but I do want to start the new year with something else in this slot because I just don't want to wait on it. And that is Fallout Season 2. So on Wednesdays, starting on, once again, January 7th, we will be doing Fallout Season 2. I'm very excited for it, despite never really having played like more than, I don't know, half an hour to an hour of New Vegas. Um, but I'm excited for it because it looked good from the one trailer I saw and just where we left off in season 1. So yeah, that will be starting in the new year, so look forward to that. And we'll go from there. And again, we are not dropping To Be Hero X. We're just going to take a break on it and we'll come back to it later. We do that with a lot of shows. If you're newer to the channel and don't know, we do that with a lot of shows where either if I'm feeling like I could get burnt out soon on the show, or if I feel like it just feels like a good point to take a break, or if I need to make space for something else. Stuff like that, I will take a break on a show and come back to it later. Plus, I sometimes prefer to do that anyway, just because I've talked before, I don't like binging shows, but it's like also having an extra break in there can sometimes get me even more excited and more hyped for a show. So it's like sometimes I just do it because of that too. Just to like make myself enjoy the show better by having that little break to, you know, hype myself back up for it. But either way, thank you once again so much for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in to just so much throughout this year. If you've been following for a while now, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. 2026 is looking to be just as good, if not better, for the channel. So for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.